Tech and clips.
Yeah. Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. We are back with some more Mission Souls. They're performing this song originally by Van Halen, Jump. Yes, Mission Souls last cover at Handuraw 2026. So this is a live performance. No, super excited. I am so familiar with this Van Halen song. I'm pretty sure most of you guys know are too. So yeah, I'm super excited to find out how they are going to put their own twist on this timeless classic. Let's take a listen, guys. Yeah. Whoa. Okay. Okay, come on. Yeah.
Hey you, who said that? Baby, how you been? You say you don't know, you won't know until you begin. So can't you see me standing here on down my back against the working machine? I ain't the worst that you see. Can't you see what I mean?
Whoa. Whoa. Okay. Okay. All right, guys, that was a Mission Souls performing Jump, originally by Van Halen. And guys, so like I said from the beginning, I mean, going into this, I already know Jump, this song very, very well. I mean, the song is iconic. I mean, between the synth intro, the larger than life energy, and that unmistakable swagger, I mean, it's not an easy track to actually cover, in my opinion. I was really, really curious to see what Mission Souls would do with it live at Handuraw 2026. Hopefully I'm getting that pronunciation right. First thing that stood out immediately was the energy. I mean, Jump lives and dies by how much life you bring to it, and they didn't hold back. I mean, right from the moment that keyboard intro kicked in, you could feel they understood they understood the assignment. That synth line is legendary, I must say. And while it's tough to actually replicate the exact tone of the original, they did a solid job capturing the spirit of it, which honestly matters in a live setting. Vocally, I feel like this is where things get interesting. I mean, the original has that loose confident almost playful delivery, and I feel like Mission Souls leaned into a slightly cleaner, more controlled approach. It doesn't have the same raw cocky edge that David Lee Roth brought, in my opinion, but it still works in its own way. It feels more like a modern family band reinterpretation rather than a straight imitation. And I actually respect that choice. I mean, I love the fact that they weren't trying to be Van Halen. They were being themselves. With a Van Halen song, if that makes sense. Yes. Instrumentally, I feel like the band held it together really, really well. I mean, the guitar work especially had some nice moments. It's tight, it's energetic, and locked in with the rhythm section. I mean, you are not getting that wild, unpredictable Eddie Van Halen sort of flair. And let's be real, I mean, very few people can replicate that. But I mean, the groove was there, and I feel like that was what kept the song driving forward. What really elevated this performance for me, though, was the stage presence. You can tell they enjoy performing together as a family. There is also a natural chemistry that comes from being a family band, and definitely translates into something that feels genuine and fun. The crowd, they seemed engaged, and that back and forth energy is exactly what a song like Jump thrives on. If I had to be fair and critical, I'd say the performance doesn't quite hit the same explosive larger than life level as the original. That is for damn sure. And I mean, I feel like that is actually a high bar. The original feels almost chaotic in its confidence, whilst this live version is a bit more polished and contained. But at the same time, that might actually make it more accessible for a live audience in this setting. So yeah, overall, this was a strong, enjoyable live cover. It definitely respects the legacy of it, or it definitely respects the legacy of the original, while still bringing a bit of Mission Souls identity into it. I mean, it's energetic, it's tight, and most importantly, it's fun to actually watch. And for a song like Jump, that's half the battle right there. I love the guys. Let me know if you want me to perform. Let me know if you want me to do more reactions to Mission Souls. Go down in the comment section and shoot some more suggestions. I'll be so delighted to sit here and do just that. If you enjoyed this reaction, if you enjoyed this review, make sure to smash the like button, comment, share all the good stuff. Name is Philip, and on to the next video. Take care, stay safe, and then peace out.